G'day everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at some of the worst and most controversial AFL banners of all time. If you're going to enjoy videos similar to this, then feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get right into it, and we start off with a few spelling mistakes. We see it all the time in banners. This is the first one, the Brisbane banner we got here. The Gabba crowd roar as the Lions kick the winning score, but they misspelled winning there without the N. Can you excuse that or not? Because I just feel like if you're going through the banner making process, you've got to design it and you're cutting out the letters. Surely you can't be that messed up in the mind. You know, regardless of the result of the game, before the game starts, you just make the team look dumb, even though it has nothing to do with them. We have a look at another spelling mistake banner here. We've got, unfortunately, the Saints who are the culprits this time, with them misspelling the word tonight. A little bit more excusable than the last one, I feel. It's not the easiest word to spell, but at the same time, anyone who's past grade 3 should know how to spell tonight. And what makes it worse, bit of a double whammy for the Saints, is I'm pretty sure we did lose this game. So not only did we spell the banner wrong, but we couldn't get the win tonight. Another one. What's with the word tonight? It can't be that difficult to spell. The Pies this time, and you can sort of excuse the Pies a little bit more. The average IQ of a Pies fan is probably under 50, but still, you got to be doing better than that, Collingwood. There are only 11 words in this banner, so not that difficult. This time the Blues misspelling prostate to prostrate. Pretty bad considering the meaning behind the banner is supposed to be, you know, dedicated towards prostate cancer and the awareness. You misspelled the word prostrate, and then people start to not take the banner message very seriously. But if you think that's bad, imagine misspelling your own team name. Like, I can possibly understand a misspelling a word that isn't as important, but like the team name, that's the most important name to be spelling correctly, and you can't even do that one right. I'd argue this one's worse though. It's your whole milestone banner. Look at that. It's not very good image quality, but look at how much effort they put into the banner with Zeeble caricature, and then they misspell his name. What I honestly believe caused this banner error to occur, I reckon a friend or a brother of the person in the North Melbourne banner making team decided to come down and help out for the day. Huge event. They needed more hands on paper, but they got the wrong person on the job. Someone who doesn't follow footy, someone who just assumed that Zeeble was spelt like that, and that was the end product. I'd be pretty pissed off if I was Jack Zeeble. Massive event, massive day. You got the photographers out, and then you see your banner and you go, you fucking idiots. If you just zoomed in and you had a look at the banner in itself, you wouldn't think too much of it, alright? Bit of a plain message, but it's not terrible. We are Richmond, we are proud. Come on Tigers, let's get loud. However, then you start to zoom out and you look at the stands at the MCG, and then you look at this message which says, let's get loud, and you just wondered to yourself, is there any even point of making that banner? Like, that is absolutely laughable, the fact that it says, let's get loud. It's as if Richmond knew they weren't going to be attracting a crowd at all, and just thought they'd throw it in there as a piss take. And it's not the first time Richmond have done this. I think this is a NAB Cup game. A little bit of benefit of the doubt, but still. Don't have this as your banner then, if you know it's a NAB Cup game. We're going to hear us roar. Yeah, you're going to hear them all roar from bloody level 3. There's not a single person in the stands. Now we're going to take the piss out of Carlton a little bit here. They were sort of trying to take the piss out of Richmond, and in fairness to them, this was in 2008 or whenever their 100th year was. I think 2012. Richmond were a rubbish team at the time. Like, they were recording, you know, 1 or 2 wins a season, pretty much finishing in the bottom 2 or 3 every other year. But then Carlton decided to come out with a banner like this, taking the piss out of Brendan Gale's 5-year plan, which I'm pretty sure was to win multiple flags by like 2019 or some crap. And this was after 2016, so I can understand them making this banner in a way. But it couldn't have been worse. It could not have aged any worse if they tried. Dusty went on to get 33 touches and 4 goals that game, and have arguably the best individual season by any player, winning the Brownlow. And Richmond, they went on to win the premiership and went on to win 3 premierships in the next 4 years. And that year, I think Carlton finished like bottom 2. To make matters worse for the Blues, they decided to take the piss out of themselves by using this banner, which reads, "You never said thanks for that banner we put up that fired up Dusty and won you the cup." Now, the reason why I chucked this banner up there is because you just can't read it. Like, the message behind it possibly could have been alright, but I genuinely couldn't read this. I just don't understand how you could be making a banner like this and not have the mental capacity to understand that maybe putting teal on teal and black is not a very good idea. But they were like, nah, screw that. It's Port Adelaide anyway, so no one's going to read it in the first place. Like, genuinely, Go Tom AFL's thumbnails are more visibly appealing than this. Like, it's just complete vomit. Like, you can't read it whatsoever. It's terrible. Speaking of Port Adelaide and having terrible banners, this is arguably the laziest banner of all time. But essentially what it reads is, we're playing to win with nothing to lose. Who's going to stop the mighty power? Like, these are the sort of banners you would see in AFL Evo, which you take the piss out of for being so lazy and generic. This is essentially leaving your homework assignment for the last couple hours and just using any idea that comes to you. And if I were to grade this banner as a teacher, I couldn't give it any higher than a D. It's just too generic. Same with this Adelaide one. Adelaide Crowville. This is our town, our turf, our time. You could say that for any fucking team. That's what makes it a bad banner. Because it's not original, it's not unique to the club, it's got nothing to do with anything. You could say this for any team. You could say for the Yellow Video Maker, for God's sakes. But at the very least though, with these crappy, lazy banners, you could actually see what they say. You can't say the same thing about this Port Adelaide banner. They've already been mentioned a few times, the power. I'm not too sure how this banner tore apart like this, but at least it's not as bad as this infamous one for the Collingwood Grand Final. I had to throw it in there. Now, we'll take the piss out of Collingwood again here. This was actually their final banner for Victoria Park for their last game. Like, have you ever seen a longer banner in an AFL game? I genuinely don't know if I have. It's just, it's meaningless, some of this stuff. Like, there's no need for this part at the end. Same for this. And it just could have been done so much better with the amount of material they would have used for this banner. And you look at Victoria Park, this is made in 1999. Why the fuck does it say they've won 15 premierships? Their 15th premiership was won in 2010. And then they put in 23 runners up. Like, isn't this banner supposed to be celebrating Victoria Park and the games played there? You didn't win those flags at Victoria Park. You didn't win a single one of those flags at Victoria Park. If I was Justin Madden for 300 games and I saw my face put on a T-Rex, I would be very pissed off, to be honest. Like, I don't know if this is like an inside joke for the club and that's his nickname. Possibly it is. Regardless though, they could have made it look a little bit more appealing. Speaking of poor designs for milestone games, have a look at this one for Basher Hawley. Like, that's just a massive stitch up. This would haunt you in your dreams. Like, imagine that staring at you at night in the middle of the night with those massive eyes. I would genuinely be scared for my life if I saw that. We've got a few more banners here. This one is essentially what happens when you completely sell out and they decide to use this as an opportunity to promote their brand with the shittest message of all time. Kanga, 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 mush, roo, room, let us squash the pies. Laughable, to be honest. Like, at this rate, I wouldn't even have a banner. And I think this is during the time when banners were brought back in 2021. So I would have just taken another week off. Like, they just wanted money here in North Melbourne. I can understand that, but you could have done a better job. Now, I'd arguably say this is the worst banner of the lot. Like, this is probably the most disrespectful and just disingenuous banner of all time. If you just got rid of the RIP Tom Hafey line at the start, it wouldn't be as bad, but it reads, RIP Tom Hafey, 1 week Lions, next minute Bears, as long as North wins. To be honest with you, I don't even understand what it's all about. But then there's the last line. You might not be able to read it, but it reads, no one really cares. It's never going to end well when you've got a line of RIP when you're trying to pay respects to someone who's just passed away, and then the same message on the same banner, you've got no one really cares. You take away the middle chunk, and the banner reads, rest in peace Tom Hafey. Oh, wait a minute, no one really cares. Now, we got this one from Fitzroy. This is during the time when they were about to merge with the Brisbane Lions. I wouldn't really call this a bad banner, to be honest. It's more just the fact that I feel sorry for Brisbane or Fitzroy and what they had to go through during this time. Yeah, this one, North Melbourne one day, Brisbane the next. And I think the next one we're about to show, they knew they were going to be out of the league in a few weeks. They're just like, screw it. We'll put whatever we can out there to express our dissatisfaction. And this is what they decided to put up. Seduced by North, raped by Brisbane, fucked by the AFL. But I'm sure there would have been a bit of controversy back then. But you can understand it. I mean, yeah, they were fucked by the AFL. Let's be real, Fitzroy. Now, this banner design was made in 1996, and I think many can agree with me for the fact that banners in the 80s and the 90s were probably the best in the AFL, the best we've ever seen, with the huge banners, huge designs, just creative designs and the caricatures and all that. Probably the best in the AFL. Maybe not all banners were so good. We take a look at this one, which was a genuine banner made by Fitzroy, I think, in like 1981. Lick them pussies. Simple as that. Short and sweet. I think there would have been a few players for Fitzroy that after the game went on to do just that. In fact, not even Fitzroy plays, screw it, fucking Geelong plays as well. Anyways, what a way to finish with that banner we saw right there. If you went on to enjoy this one, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to see a second version of possibly the most memorable or the best banners of all time, you know, I can possibly do that over the next couple of weeks. So leave a like if you enjoyed. We'll give it 500 likes and I'll do a part 2. But anyways, until then, we'll see you soon in my next video. Have a good one.